Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, 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 everyone, to yet another episode of Campus Connection. We are so very excited that you are here with us this evening, joining us to spread the wagwan on campus. I am Jonathan Fletcher, and with me is my co-host.
Anesta Samuels, and it is another exciting show in the making because we're talking about Jamaicans across the globe, part
Mm-hmm.
2. Now, I personally loved our part 1 segment of this show because I feel like it gave us a chance to see how campusites are really just expanding their
Doing the thing,
horizons. They
yeah.
are living outside of the box, really. And now
Mm-hmm.
we're bringing some other campusites on who are living far away, but still they're making their mark. They are representing, and I just love when we get a chance to connect with people who are doing something outside of the norm. I feel like that's always a good thing to do. And so in this show we're dealing
Absolutely.
with Jamaicans across the globe part 2, and I want to encourage you to hop onto our live stream if you haven't already done so. I don't know what you're waiting on. I mean, you should be in kind of like a rhythm by now of, okay, Campus Connection is live. So, all right, let me
Literally.
hop over to YouTube. Let me hop over to Facebook, wherever you are. You might even be on TikTok. We're live there too at Love 101 FM Jamaica. So please, we want to hear from you in the comments. We want to just see who is on, where you're listening or watching from. We'd love to say hello and call out your name and have your family and friends say, "Oh, I heard somebody call your name on the radio."
Big thing, not to know.
That's a big
Big
deal.
thing, big thing. Yeah,
Of
man.
course. So yes, we do have look forward to that discussion. But before we get there, Jonathan, we have such an amazing lineup as always for our listeners. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, man. We have a wonderful show planned. Of course, we'll start with our Campus Alert feature going into our education news and bulletin. Then we have Avadine Thompson Tucker, teacher in the United Kingdom, mate.
So
And she will be our get. Hey, listen, my accent.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
my British accent, don't play with it.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So she'll be our guest for honor roll this evening. And then we have Richardo Williamson from Oberlin High School, who will be sharing the testimony of Jesus Christ in our I Chose Christ feature. And then our main discussion, we have Patrice Clayton, UWI graduate and public sector worker, who was recently in Trinidad. Dr. Cedric Leslie, Columbus in Ohio, USA. And Desha Mills, she is from Lithuania, studying veterinary. Yeah, man, a whole heap of things are going on right here.
Whole
So,
heap
so
of
Jamaicans,
things.
both young and old, have made significant contributions to the various fields, and their cultural influence continues to grow and inspire people worldwide. So we're gone far,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
show is far,
yeah.
So we want you to come on the journey with us because it's all about Jamaicans across the globe, the second edition.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we don't even want to waste any more time. Campus alert for today's show. We want to remind you, if you're applying for a scholarship, if you're in that season of reaching out to different companies, letting them know you need financial support, please, please, please don't stick to just one option, but always seek for advice whenever you're applying for scholarship. And my personal tip is for you to try to adjust your application, especially that part where you get to really share a
So
little bit about who
important.
you are and what you're involved
Mm-hmm.
in. adjust it according to the organization that you're applying to, so that they can see what your skill set is, so that they can see what your contribution has been, how you're impacting your community, your society, and so that they can get a sense of just the kind of person that you are. So don't
Very
just limit
important.
yourself. Don't just stick to one scholarship application and think, yes, well, I applied for scholarships. No, man, apply for 10, 20, as many as
Mm-hmm.
are available to you. Please, please, please go ahead and apply. You never really know which one is going to work out. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. All right, it's now time for education news and bulletin, and this will be read by Elise Reed, marketing, production, operation, and management student at the University of Technology, Jamaica. So listen in, and we'll be right back for more Campus Connection.
Education news and bulletins for Tuesday, June the 17th, 2025. Some 326,000 students will be benefit from Rural School Bus Program, which will see parents saving up to $180,000 per year in the transportation fares, says the Science, Energy, Telecommunication and Transport Minister, Honorable Daryl Vaz. He was delivering a statement in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, June the 10th. Minister Vaz said the implementation of a rural transportation system is a priority program for the government. It is aimed at ensuring the provision of a safe, efficient, and affordable mode of transportation for students in the rural area, he noted. The first phase of the school bus program will commence with the rollout of 110 school buses. These buses will start shipping on the 20th of June and will be here in the first week of July, Minister Vaz said. He noted that the first 60 buses will be serviced in time for back to school in September 2025. The remaining units will arrive in the island between September 2025 and January 2026. Education Minister applauds St. Anne's School for tech-driven excellence. Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Senator Dr. Honorable Dana Maris Dixon has commended schools in the St. Anne for their exemplary programs and innovative integration of technology into the teaching and learning process. Speaking with the JIS News following a tour of 6 schools in the parish on Thursday, June 12, Senator Marison Dixon highlighted several standout features. Chief among them, the remarkable use of technology at the St. Hilda's Diocesan High School for Girls. Justice Minister Honorable Delroy Chuck is encouraging students to embrace peaceful resolution as a means to settle disputes that may arise. There will always be conflicts between you and your friends, between you and others, but you can work it out. You don't have to fight it out, he emphasized. Mr. Chuck was speaking during the ministry's social justice tour at the Norman Manley High School in Kingston on Friday, June the 13th. He encouraged the students to seek assistance from their guidance counselor, principal, or teachers if they encounter a problem they cannot resolve on their own. There is absolutely no reason for you to continue to be in conflict. You must strive to live with one another, work with one another, because it is important as you grow to make sure that your interpersonal relationship with one another is very strong, the minister reasoned. Mr. Chuck further expressed his hope for students, not only to live peaceful and harmonious lives, but also to reach their fullest potential in the years ahead. From now on, every day of your life, make sure you think about what you want to be and start to educate yourself and work towards that goal, Mr. Chuck said. In his remark, Custos Rolumtirum for St. Andrew, Honorable Ian Farbs praised the ministry for its timely and transformative initiative. It reflects a bold commitment to empowering Jamaica's youth and other citizens by helping them understand their rights and their roles within the justice system. Justice is not just a courtroom matter, it is a principle that must be lived and taught daily in our lives, school, homes, and communities, Mr. Farbs said. The Custos emphasized that the theme for the tour, Justice for All Away, reflects a shared responsibility underscoring that justice must be accessible to every Jamaican, regardless of age or background. It must be accessible, relevant, and inclusive, Mr. Forbes said, adding that the tour fosters honest conversation, providing students and stakeholders with a meaningful platform to discuss issues shaping Jamaican society. Meanwhile, Norman Manley High School principal Ronsel Brooks noted that teachers and students have undergone training provided by the Ministry's Social Justice Division. We have used aspects of the restorative justice program to help deal with the students' behavior. He further indicated the social justice tour is part of a public awareness campaign aimed at increasing visibility for alternative justice systems, including child division, restorative justice, victim service, legal aid, and expungement. Passion in Purity presents Youth Summer Camp 2025. Mark your calendars, save the date, August 7th to the 9th, 2025. Happening at the New Generation Campsite, Cranbrook's Estate, St. Anne. The perfect place to grow, connect, and get inspired. The cost is 12,000 Jamaican dollars, and final payments are due July the 31st. For registration and other details, visit at Passion and Purity JA. Get ready for an unforgettable summer experience. ICF presents Discipleship Camp, August the 9th to the 14th, 2025, at the Marlands Camp, Manchester. Camp cost is $22,000. Save the date. Registration opens soon. That's the education news and bulletins for the Campus Connection. I am Elise Reed.
All right. Thank you so very much. That was Elise Reed, marketing, production, operation, and management student at the University of Technology, Jamaica. Thank you so much for our education news and bulletin. And let me remind you yet again, please, ladies and gentlemen, please, we want you to interact with us as best as possible. So you can send us a WhatsApp message at 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. We're going straight into our honor roll segment right about now with Aberdeen Thompson Tucker, a teacher in the United Kingdom. Can you believe that? Yeah, man. We're glad and abroad and all of those things, wonderful things. So she's a class teacher who studied special education at the Jamaica University College. She's a wife, a mother of two boys, and she's also a praise and worship leader. Aberdeen,
Aw.
good. Wait, it's morning, right?
Yes.
For
Officially
you,
bedtime. It's
official
actually
bedtime.
15 minutes
Wow.
to 12. Yes.
50 minutes. That's crazy. But we're so very grateful that you would have taken the opportunity to be with us this evening. You can tell that we're excited. All
Yeah.
right, cool. Let's calm down. Yeah, let's calm down a bit. But let's get straight into it because we know that you have to get your rest. Who is when you think of yourself, right? How do you describe yourself to somebody who is just meeting you?
Okay. So I know that for some people, they might define me otherwise, but I'm Averdeen Thompson Tucker. I've been married to an amazing husband, Fabian Tucker, for almost 15 years. We have two lovely boys, 12 and 8.
Mm.
I am a teacher and I've been teaching officially because I know I did some informal teaching when I was in my teenage years at the Hearties Basic School when I did National Youth Service. But I've been formally trained and been teaching for over 15 years. I know I might not look it or sound like it, but yes. And I went to the Michael, and I want to say big up to all the Myconians listening across Jamaica and
Of course.
abroad. Whoop, whoop. Yes. And yes, I am a sister. I'm a daughter. I don't know what else to say, but Yes, I studied special education and I taught in Jamaica for at least 10 years before moving to the United Kingdom, where I have been teaching in primary education since. Yes. Praise and worship leader at my church. I'm also a Sunday school teacher as well, because I serve in that capacity. And it's
Wow.
based on my conviction, based on what I've seen in my school,
Mm-hmm.
whereas because it's a multicultural school, we have different religious beliefs, and I
Mm-hmm.
recognize that when it comes to the different religions, the parents are very adamant in instilling those principles in relation to the religious background that they are from. So I said, no, I need to put my hand in and kind of impact the lives of those whom I believe they need to learn from very young, because the Bible tells us to train the child in the way that they should go. And when they come of age, they will not depart. So I want to have that sort of impact, not just in the academical realm, but also in the spiritual realm. Yes. So I hope
Powerful.
I
Absolutely powerful.
have
No, that's
captured
good.
enough.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to jump to a quick break. We want you to stick and stay with us as we, dive a little deeper into the life of Aberdeen Thompson Tucker. You want to stick and stay with us after these messages.
The time by Grace Good Move is
5:47.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. Its fragrance is so amazing, you have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone.
At Jatden Medical Services, we specialize in compassionate care, offering oncology, dialysis, urgent care, ophthalmology, and much more, all in one central location at unbeatable prices. And with our Suma Lab, you can get fast, accurate results when it matters most. So call us today at 876-906-6496 or follow us on all our social media platforms. Jatden Medical Services, affordable, world-class healthcare.
This Emancipation Day, experience a night of powerful praise and purpose. CC Winans brings her More Than This tour to Jamaica with Chevelle Franklin, Kevin Downswell, Prince Saj, John Mark Wigan, hosted by IT Ellis and Nadine Blair. Gates open 2 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Tickets at select outlets island-wide or online at spuropen.com. Follow at More Than This Jamaica on Instagram for updates. CC Winans, More Than This concert with a call. Friday, August 1, King's House East, Lawns.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just now joining us, we have been having just a wonderful time with Mrs. Aberdeen Thompson Tucker. She is a class teacher and she studied special education at, apparently it's the Michael University College, not just Michael University College. It's the capital T, the Michael University College. And she's also a wife, a mother of 2 boys, and she is a worship leader. So I can tell from the comment section that this is someone who means a lot to a lot of people, because the comments are going wild. Go Aberdeen, go Aberdeen. Everybody proud of you, bad, and all sorts of things. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about why you went into special education. I'm eager to hear more about what sparked your interest in that area.
Okay, I know teachers love to talk, so I'm going to condense it as much as possible because we have time working with. But I remember when I was going to high school, I wasn't one of the smartest. In fact, I had a best friend then, her name Arkeen. I know I can call her name. She was the brighter of the 2 of us.
Okay.
And I really struggled. But there was one particular teacher who saw more than I thought of myself. and I could call her name as well, Miss Medora Doyley Pasley. And as a special educator, she would, encourage us. And I remember when I left high school, Arkeen and myself, and we graduated with, achieving the most subjects in CXC and GCE. We were awarded then. And because my background is from like a poor, very humble background. My parents didn't have it. They were farmers and vendors. My mother would go, my mother, she affectionately called Sister Claudette Pauline Thompson, and my father, Everton Thompson. My father, as a farmer, my mother, she would go to the Coronation Market. Sometimes I would go with her and we would sell. And when it was when I completed high school and we did not have enough to go to maybe college, my mother said to me, Avadine, you need to go look one job. Go and go look one job because no money na dey for send you go college. But I was so distraught because after achieving that amount of subjects and being awarded for it to maybe go and just do something menial, I didn't want that. And I was there crying and praying. And I did not know that my teacher then, who saw the potential in me, she was actually praying because she was just more than but a teacher. She was praying and she said that like the Lord inspired her to ask my father about me. And then the connection was made at the time. And then she brought me actually to the Michael Teachers College. She introduced me to the special education department and to Dr. Mary Dixon and the rest of the lecturers there. And we did not have the money at first. I don't know where she got it from, but she went ahead and she gained a scholarship somewhat, along with what my late sister Chevrin was able to come up with. And that's how I started at the Michael. Thereafter, doors open and I got to go on the work and travel program. And that's how I was able to fend my way through the rest of college. But that's how it actually
Wow.
started. Yeah.
Through many dangers, toils, and snares.
I have
Honestly, you're
too
too young
many
for that.
counts.
You know
You don't know them someday. Well, we give God glory. Wow, that's
That's
so beautiful. So,
amazing.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
But you are in the UK now, right? There are
Yeah.
many things that are different. I mean, the weather, Aberdeen, the weather, Jesus.
Oh,
I feel it. I feel it right here. Yeah, cup of tea.
I would say.
Yeah,
likewise.
it's very different.
Absolutely.
In a nutshell, can you give us? All right, here what I wanted to do. I want to give us three differences that you've experienced when it comes on to the education system. So Jamaica versus the UK. Three of them.
All right. So here in the UK, we have many resources and
Mm,
it's readily available. We don't have to, like, teachers do not have to go home to make charts. They don't have to stress
wow.
about anything at all. So resources are readily available.
Mm.
Back
Mm-hmm.
home, when I was teaching in my local community, I had to dip in my pocket, certainly,
Mm-hmm.
or go to the bins to, take your
Mhm.
hand, make fashion, so
Mhm.
to speak. Another thing here, they are quite big on safeguarding children. So you find that there are certain things that would be an oversight in Jamaica, but here it's a no-no. And let me give you an example. If children are outside playing, you will have to have teachers on duty, for example, to watch them. I know, like for some schools in Jamaica, like that, more so the private ones, they will definitely do that. But generally speaking, probably in Jamaica or where I'm from and what I've been exposed to in my local community in Easington Primary, that's where I taught before.
Mhm.
It wasn't like that. Children were able to just go out, play cricket, play football, and when lunchtime was finished, they would come back and so on. Another thing here in the UK, it is heavily you have a lot of administrative work that
Mm.
accompanies teaching. So you have the marking, then you have to meet with parents, you have to write emails, you have to put on workshops to like inform like parents how to, support their children at home and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's heavily administrative here than that of in Jamaica, based on my context and experience where I taught. Yes.
Wow. So how would you say what advice would you give to those persons who might be considering pursuing their profession in the UK? What would you give them? What advice would you give them?
Ah, first of all, if they are able to identify their why, that's one of the most important things. You have to have a passion for teaching, because there are days when it's really overbearing. It's like overwhelming and you struggle. But
Mm-hmm.
having that firm belief in what it is that you want to achieve, because it's not every day you have good days, I must say, because that's just what life is like. That you have your good days, you have
Yes.
your bad days, but understanding your why first and foremost, and give yourself time, because it's over time. When I just came here, I had to unlearn some of the things that I knew and
Mm-hmm.
quickly adapt to the British way of doing things. So you have to be adaptable, you have to be resilient, you can't just give up and just pack up and go like that. And recognizing it, because for us, like my family, it wasn't cheap to migrate to come here. We had to spend a
Right.
lot. So
Mm.
think about that. You have the spending, the financial, weight that comes with it,
Mm-hmm.
to just leave and cleave, and then yes, and so on. So you will have to consider that as well. And when days are hard, if you have that Christ as your firm foundation, there's no way that you will be in the boat and the boisterous winds and waves are crashing around you, and you will not have that peace, because peace will be with you. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be centered, you have to be resilient, you have to be adaptable, you have to consider the financial burden that comes with it
Mm-hmm.
at first, because over time you will level off and you will begin to see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the things that I would encourage somebody to consider. Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Boy, Aberdeen, I'd sit down and talk to you all day.
Yeah.
But you know the thing already. Yeah, man. Yeah, she nice, 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 nice. I love it. I love it. But do you have anybody that you want to big up? Anybody you
Of
want to shout out?
course. I
Aberdeen, let me warn you from now. Let me warn you from now. We have 30 seconds.
30
So,
seconds. So let me just
so
do this
quick, let's
quickly.
go.
First of all,
Hmm.
I really have to thank God, right? Because had it
Yes.
not been for him, I would not be here. My parents, Everton Thompson, big up yourself, Barry Elijah in charge. My mother, Pauline Thompson, sister Claudette, otherwise, my sister Charmaine, Nerissa, my brother Renard, Lucian, all the Myconians, I see them typing in the chat. Erica, I see you. Arkeen, I have to say hello to my teacher, my amazing teacher, who she's actually still in my life. My 30 seconds has gone. No, not yet. But I want to say big up to the Nazarene Church of God of Jamaica, Yalas New
Hmm.
Testament Church of God, big up yourself, and all these things. I'm truly connected, and I, before coming here, and how I've always embraced my patois, my Jamaican
Hmm.
authenticity. Coming here, patois is a brand, Jamaica is a brand, and I'm not going to leave.
Hmm.
Come on, representing Jamaica on the wing.
Oh, this was so much fun talking with you, Avadine. We certainly wish you all the best. Continue to do what you're doing, continue to mold and shape young minds, and continue to make your mark for Christ in the lives of those that you teach. We just want to wish you all the best that life has to offer. Blessings, blessings, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
All right,
man. Big
so
up,
we
big up.
just heard there from Mrs. Avadine Thompson Tucker, a class teacher, a wife, a mother, and a praise and worship leader. We're going now to a quick break, but when we return, we have our I Chose Christ feature coming up after this break.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
Febreze. Imagine getting home after a long day and it smells so amazing that it makes you smile. Try Febreze Plugs, an air freshener that delivers continuous scent for up to 50 days when you plug it in low mode. Indulge in wonderful scents for weeks with Febreze.
This Emancipation Day, experience a night of powerful praise and purpose. CC Winans brings her More Than This tour to Jamaica with Chevelle Franklin, Kevin Downswell, Prince Saj, John Mark Wigan, hosted by IT Ellis and Nadine Blair. Gates open 2 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Tickets at select outlets island-wide or online at spuropen.com. Follow at More Than This Jamaica on Instagram for updates. CC Winans, More Than This concert with a call. Friday, August 1, King's House East Lawns.
Okay, we are on the campus heights. Students are strap up in a price. We see yard.
Welcome back. It's Campus Connection. And if you're just now joining us, our comment section was going wild just now because we had on Mrs. Avadine Thompson Tucker. And we were just talking with her about her experience teaching in the UK. And now we're jumping to our I Chose Christ feature, which is presented to us today by Richardo Williamson, a student at the Oberlin High School. So listen in and be blessed.
Hi, my name is Richardo Williamson. I am a fourth form student at Oberlin High School. The Lord has been so good to me. I cannot complain. Whenever I'm going through a rough time, I can always call upon the name of Jesus. I can always call upon him because he's here to save, to provide, to protect, and to carry me through. Whenever I feel like I am down in the spirit, I can call upon him, and I know that I am safe from all troubles and trials. God has done it for me. He can do it for you. I can give him all the thanks, all the honor, all the glory because he has done it for me. When I was going through many things as a child, growing up, seeing many things and not being able to understand what I am going through, I knew that there was a God who could protect and who could guide me and show me the right way because he is that God. He is a miracle working God. And so today I want to encourage you that I chose Christ and you can too. God bless you in Jesus' name.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful testimony there from Richardo, Oberlin High School student, telling us why he chose Christ and you should too. We love to hear it, especially from a young man. Yeah, man. We love it. We love it over here inside Campus Connection. Honest, I love it a lot. Can't tell you that. Yeah, man.
You do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Yes. So we're talking about Jamaicans across the globe. We just spoke with a Jamaican living in the United Kingdom, and we want to talk some more to some foreign people who feel very international
Yeah,
this evening,
this is a
right? So we're
global
going
show
across the
today.
globe. Yeah. So, both young and old Jamaicans have made significant contributions to various fields, and their cultural influence continues to grow and inspire people worldwide, right? So, we're talking about the Jamaican diaspora. We have Jamaicans in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Cayman, Barbados, Trinidad, Africa, right across the globe. And it's such a privilege to be able to speak with some of them who have gone and they have, come back to be with us, and some who are still overseas. So, Anesta, tell the people where we're going now and who else.
Absolutely. So today we have some guests, some very, very distinguished guests with us. We have Patrice Clayton, a UWI graduate and a public sector worker who was recently in Trinidad. We also have Dr. Cedric Leslie from Columbus, Ohio, in the United States. And we have Daisha Mills, a vet student who is studying in Lithuania, and that's in Europe. Now, I'm super excited about this panel because I just feel like campus connection has really just we've expanded our borders. We've become
Mm-hmm.
international, and we're connecting with the students and the campusites who are making their mark overseas. And first of all, welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, it's my pleasure to be here.
Awesome,
Awesome,
awesome.
awesome.
So here's our first question to all of you. How are you doing? How are you managing? You're away from home, you're living overseas. How is life treating you right now? It's time for a check-in. Let me start with Dr. Leslie, because we can't just call you Cedric, we have to say Dr. Leslie.
I was gonna let one of the ladies go first, or both of them. But since you asked, how am I doing? Very honestly, it was a rough week, but more so in general, I'm doing well because God is good. It's finally getting warm. It was a very cold winter, the coldest of the 4 that I've experienced here since coming here for my PhD, and so I'm grateful. I'll leave it there.
All right. How about you, Daisha?
It was also pretty rough for me. Had some challenging tests, had some interesting cow farm visits, but I survived. That's all I can say. I survived.
That pretty much sums up university life.
Yeah.
I'm surviving.
Yeah.
How about you, Patrice? How are you doing?
Well, I've returned back to Jamaica. How am I? Well, today I am tired. I'm a bit tired, but I'm giving God thanks because even amidst being tired, still have to give thanks for all the blessings that I'm enjoying in life, and being alive is one of the biggest blessings. So I'm tired physically, but I'm still thankful.
Awesome, awesome. So we know that this is a sacrifice. We don't even have to ask. It's a sacrifice to go after better, to pursue better. But Dr. Leslie, could you take me to a time where you made that decision that say, boy, man, for do this thing, What was that thought process like?
Well, that was so many times. Had my wife been on tonight, she would perhaps tell you of the many times I thought of quitting. And I think what would have steered me in the direction to completing was simply having a family. I don't know if you're married yet, Jonathan, but when you become a married man, the decisions that you make are not just for you. Because had I been single, trust me, marriage is a blessing. Because I would have packed my bags after first year because I felt imposter syndrome. I felt like this wasn't what God was calling me to, even though he told me in very plain terms that he sent me here. It was difficult throughout, but I feel like one of the main things that sort of held me together was my family.
Wow.
That's powerful. That's absolutely powerful. Daisha, what was your thought process like? Because you're gone far in a Daisha.
Very
right?
far.
Yeah. What was
Most
that
people
like?
don't know where it is.
Yeah.
My thought process, I'm still in school, so I just finished my 3rd year. September I'll be starting 4th year of veterinary. So I will have another 2 more to go. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I think the speaker before us, Miss Avadine, mentioned it. Is the whole why, having a why and having a reason to push forward. It really has kept me going. Of course, with people to support, but definitely having a reason for a passion is the biggest drive um, for keeping me going. Yeah.
Wow. And what about you, Patrice?
Okay, so for me, it was a training that I needed for work. So, you have to fulfill your duties at work. But one of the things that kept me grounded was to have the end result in mind. So I know what I wanted to achieve at the end of it. I wanted to, one of the things, so is I normally set goals for myself whenever I'm starting a new study. So when I started doing my undergraduate, I'd made sure to put some goals there that I wanted to achieve. So I told myself I have to finish this in 3 years and not a day over. And then when I started my master's, I told myself, okay, we're gonna do this for 2 years and we're gonna do as best as I can and see if I can get the best grade possible. So going into this training, I told myself, okay, let's see if I can go and I can do excellently and see if I can come out with the best grade. But then that didn't happen. But I think I got the second highest grade. But setting goals for myself is one of the way that I try to keep grounded, as well as keeping in mind that whenever or whatever I gain is not just for myself, but at the end of the day, there must be some way that whatever knowledge I gain, I can use to not just help myself, but help even my country.
Love it. Now, the interesting thing, why this is so powerful coming from you, Patrice, we interviewed you a while back, being an honorable guest here on the program, and now to see just the strides that you've made, being able to work overseas, coming back to share your story. What would you guys say? And I'll start with Patrice, but what would you guys say is the most important resource that you've been able to find as you've been living and studying overseas, as you've worked overseas in Patrice's case? What are some of those resources that people can pull on if they're in that situation? Let's go with you first, Patrice.
So for me, one of the greatest resources is the people around you. So learn to network because you may be away, you're going to be away from your family more than likely. Not all of us are as blessed as Dr. Leslie. So you're going to be away from your family and a lot of the times you're going to be alone. So you need people around you, and it's always good to find people who are like-minded and persons who are sometimes faith-based. Even though sometimes you might not find persons who share the same belief as you, it's good to find persons who are of a certain moral compass. Let's put it like that. Also, it is good to keep in touch with your family back home, because for me, a lot of the times I'd be on the phone and I'd be calling back home, video calling and speaking to them. Thankfully, the time difference wasn't that bad, so I could call and I could speak to them for hours, and then I can, rejuvenate, and it's like a breath of fresh air. So sometimes the best support is the persons who are immediately around you, and then you must always, because God is supposed to be at the center of all of our lives. God is one of the best support that there will ever be. Because in those quiet moments when you're alone and there's nobody else, God is always there. And if you're listening, He will always speak to you. So those three things were my way of coping with being away and having support.
Mm-hmm. And just before we jump to a break, Desha, would you like to share on what's your thing?
Sure. So for me, it's quite similar. I would say people are your best resource. Definitely. When it comes to people around you, for me, networking in the university is very important. I send so many emails on a regular basis, and it's just trying to get your name out there, trying to have people know who you are, but also the resources of people who support you. Your friends, sometimes they can change, especially being abroad. It does get lonely, but I think where it gets really hard and really lonely is adjusting to different people. Everyone grew up differently, everyone is from a different background. I'm in a place where very rarely a few of us are from the same place. So everybody's from a different country. It's not just a
Right.
different household. So it can be a bit difficult to find people that will be your support or your friend for ever or for the academic journey that you have. So you have to become okay with letting people go, and that's just a part of learning to use your resource of people. It's okay to have them there for a time and accept the benefit that they offer at that time. And what helps you adjust for when they leave is the people that have been there forever, the OGs, the best friends, the parents, the church, you know. Those are the people that, okay, I'm struggling with surviving and adjusting here. You have been there for me all this time. You know who I am. I can call you and talk to you for hours, and it makes a difference.
Love it. Love it. Guys, we're going to a break, but when we come back, Dr. Leslie, I definitely want to hear from you, your side of the story on that. So there is more Campus Connection, guys. You definitely want to stay with us. When we return, more exciting discussions on Jamaicans across the globe. Stay with us.
At a time when many had lost confidence in the JCF and questioned whether their true transformation was even possible, when some believed that simple change the name from force to service would suffice, this administration, this minister held steadfast to a new transformation vision. Since November 2022, when the Firearm Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act came into effect, there has been a steady increase in the recovery of firearms. We are creating a professional culture, one that respects the dignity and rights of every Jamaican. We are building a Jamaica constitutional force that is institutionally resilient, ready to meet the future, and that future is emerging.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Don't let freshness ditch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
All right, welcome back to Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. And just in case you feel a little chilly or you feel like you're not too local right now, it's because we are across the globe with some Jamaicans who are across the globe. So you're welcome, right? For those who never traveled before, Campus Connection carrying you across the globe. So yeah, you're welcome. All right, so we have the great Dr. Cedric Leslie here, but you know, they say behind every great man, there is a greater woman, right? And I think this is so beautiful, actually, because both Cedric and Antonia Leslie, they pursued advanced degrees. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. And this is while you guys were parenting or, you know, two children, right? So studying and parenting all at the same time in a foreign country. I'm going to ask you to break that down for me. I don't know if it's possible for this.
Super
time.
We don't have enough time
two
for that.
sentences or so. What was that like?
We do not have enough time for that. I promise you. I promise you. As my wife reminded me last night of the scripture that says, if you're going to build a house, count the cost first. Marriage is no play thing. And, you know, to compound it with studying and with a child or older of the two girls would be the one who, would have been more of a responsibility throughout the 4 years. And so we can talk more about that. Our second daughter came in the last 4 weeks of our degrees. And let me tell you, it might sound like, okay, them soon finish. That was the real
Wait. If it's the last 4 weeks, it means that Mrs. Leslie was
That's
okay.
crazy.
My wife was 9 months pregnant in March. And so she would have just had April to finish up, exams in April. She's doing her presentations. I'm preparing for my dissertation defense in that last month, just the same. We were blessed enough to have my sister-in-law to come here for 2 weeks. But you can just imagine how tired we were over that time. Back and forth from hospital, dropping off my daughter at school while preparing for dissertation. Let me tell you, my advisor sent me a message one night. I was in the hospital thinking all is peace and safety. He said, "Are you still planning to graduate?" That was the question of my life, because I promise you, I was planning to graduate. But that gave me the kick that I needed, because I don't know, my wife was in labor for 36 hours. We were trying for an induction, and that didn't go as we planned, as we prayed about it. We were fasting in all of a safe fast, because she's pregnant, a safe fast in February, that the Lord will just give us favor for an induction. My wife was half to the full point of dilation after 36 hours, and we prayed about it, and we felt like God's heart was that we did a second C-section, because our first daughter was a C-section also. And that also complicated everything, because you're thinking about being immobile for some time. And big up my wife, Antonia Tadisha Janil. May I call out her whole name? Antonia Tadisha Janil. Leslie is a G, because that girl was on the labor bed, on the labor ward, trying to complete a proper problem-solving examination. She does analytics and all those things to do with finance and so forth. So she's in quant and those things. I think it was an essay that she was trying to finish, as a matter of fact. But I want to share one other highlight that made our journey, truly, truly difficult. We had a miscarriage. It was our second miscarriage on the way while I was in my second year. My wife had not started her program yet, but it was a depressing time. We were in the hospital from the last day of October. Well, our first visit was the last day of October, and we, because of what was happening, we had to be making all these visits to follow up and check up to see what was happening, keeping in touch with the doctor. And then on the 5th or 6th day, we knew that it was, that time that the fight was over. I held my baby in a bucket. I had to take 2 weeks off school. I had to take 2 weeks off school. And the 3 courses I was doing, people see your glory, but they don't
know the story at all.
But we have to testify about these things for the glory of God. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was out of it. I love my girls. I love my daughter. At that point, it was just Victoria, and she was there with us the whole time. That night, we went in from probably around 9 o'clock in the night, and the doctors were just in and out, several at one point. And when everything was said and done, our daughter was up through the entire night, just there with us, just doing our silly stuff. And that was one of the things that truly kept us on our feet and smiling too. I know I'm talking for long, but this really means a lot.
That's powerful.
And when everything was done, I had to truly step back. I asked for time off from my classes. My professors, this is something about the United States system that I will forever give them, a lot of credit for. They are very compassionate. The lecturers, the professor, your professors want to see you pass. And it's not because the system is easy that you're gonna get through, but
Mm-hmm.
they want to see you complete. And so I approached my professors at that time and I asked them if I could do an incomplete for all of the courses I was doing. So I was now going to be moving forward into the spring semester
Mm-hmm.
with 3 courses in addition to another 3, or I think it was 4 that semester, because it was that was my heaviest semester after that. So I was now carrying 7 courses, which is not advised at the PhD level. The most you should be taking is 3 because of the rigor of the program. And
Right.
so that was a whole next semester there, because God alone could have bring me through. And I testify to somebody even right now that what you are going through is not meant to kill you. God is preparing you for something greater, and you might not be able to tell right now, hallelujah, but it shall be well.
Wow, powerful. Absolutely, absolutely powerful. That is absolutely beautiful. What a wonderful way to bring the curtains down on this evening's show.
Yes.
Jamaicans across the globe.
Yeah.
Patrice and Desha, we just want you to give your final thoughts as relates to the experiences that you have had, and anything that you'd want to leave with our listeners. So Patrice, we'll go with you first.
One thing I'd want to leave with the listeners is that sometimes when you go away, it is for the best in that you're alone. Because when you're alone, you don't really have that much distractions and you can focus on God and focus on realigning. So sometimes it's a brand new start for some persons when they go away. So you can always start anew, start afresh, and even strengthen your faith walk with God. Because when you're in those quiet moments when there's nobody else but you and God, you have nobody else to rely on but God. So it helps you to build your relationship with God, and even gives you that it gives you that you get to go deeper into God. And so if it is that you are to return or to go anywhere else, you can expound on the word, and you can expound from a place of not just knowing of God, but knowing God for yourself.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love it. How about you, Desho? Any last words?
Yeah, so I just want to let people know it's okay to venture out and to look for studies and work opportunities, just opportunities in general outside of the norm, outside of just Jamaica or US and Canada. I know a lot of persons limit their options to that, and when I started looking in Europe, and this is like outside of the UK, I
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of doubt headed my way from several people. I did have support from some, but it was, where you going? What you doing? Is that place even real? So many things. um but 4 years later, here I am. I'm almost done with my degree. It's a master's program, but it's integrated. So if you come in and you don't have to have a bachelor's before. So
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of universities in the US, you have to have pre-medical or pre-veterinary or some form of bachelor's before you go into the main program. There are countries out there where you can just leave high school and go straight into the program, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm doing. And just because the education system might be difficult for you in one country doesn't mean it's as challenging in another. i
Mm-hmm.
have I have learned a lot more here, I
Mm-hmm.
would say. I have appreciated the education system here, because in Lithuania we don't have exams at the end of the semester or the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a test every week.
Wow.
And that
Yeah,
has worked out surprisingly better for me because the
that's
information
awesome.
is fresh and the
That's awesome.
lecturers care. And
Mm-hmm.
before every exam you have a meeting where you're meant to just ask questions.
I love it. You know,
Yeah.
I just hats off to you guys for taking such
Absolutely.
a bold step to study, to work overseas away from your family, and you're doing so well at it, you know, and like Dr. Leslie said, there's a testimony that's coming out of these experiences. So we just want to thank you guys so much for being with us today and sharing with us your experiences. We hope that our listeners were tuned in and really, really learning from them and growing from them too. And we wish you all the best as you continue to do what you do. You know, we're hoping that we can have some more time with you guys, have you back on just to really dig deep into your story. But definitely thank you so much for being here and making it Campus Connection. So, ladies and
Absolutely.
gentlemen, that is all the time we have on this episode of today's show. But we certainly want to continue to be a part of that Jamaicans across the globe. We need to continue this at least one more week, man. We'll have to see what our producer says. But yes, thank you so much. And to all of our hardworking production team members who were on with us behind the scenes working to make this show what it was, thank you. And to, of course, our guests, and to all of you, our listeners, to those who came on, commented, and gave us your feedback and just prodding our guests on. We thank you so much for making it Campus Connection. On behalf of all of us here at Love 101, we wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I'm Anesta, and
I am Jonathan. See you next week for more things while going on campus. Take care.
You're to the Family Radio broadcasting from Kingston, Jamaica. We're Love 101 FM. It's now 6:32, and it's time for the evening